Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know, not only on Texas Tech athletics all year long, but Big 12 sports in general. We'll be breaking it down, whether that's college football, men's basketball, baseball, whatever it is, we've got you covered right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. And before I'm done with this promo, if we get to 1,500 subscribers, we'll be giving away a signed Texas Tech memorabilia piece. No, not this one right here. Can't give that away. That came from my in-laws. But we will be giving one away, whether that's a signed mini helmet, a signed jersey, a signed picture. Lyle and I will brainstorm a little bit and get something together. But first, we have to get to 1,500 subscribers. So be sure to hit that big red button to stay in the know, not only on Texas Tech athletics all year long, but Big 12 sports in general. All right, let's jump into this, as the video today will be about the Maui Invitational. And people are debating this on social media, and I'll be honest with you, I think it's a waste of their time. The argument on social media that I've seen is, what is the best preseason tournament in college basketball this year? I don't think it's a debate. It's the Maui Invitational. You have five top 25 teams in this tournament, and the three teams that are playing that aren't ranked, well, two of them are pretty good. One of them is just, they're bad. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. How we'll break this down is we will start out going from the highest ranked team in the AP top 25 to the lowest team that I think is in this tournament. That there's obviously three non-ranked teams, but let's start out with the Arkansas Razorbacks at number 9. And the job that Eric Musselman has done coming over from Nevada to the SEC in Fayetteville. I grew up a little bit up there in Northwest Arkansas, graduated from Rogers High School back in 2012. Is phenomenal. This is a basketball crazy fan base. They absolutely love their Hogs, and this might be the best team that Arkansas has had in 2 decades. I mean, I'm not trying to be, this is clickbaity or whatnot. This team is really, really good. And the crazy part is going into Maui, they're not going to have a top 3 player in the class of 2022 in Nick Smith Jr., who I personally think could be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft if he decides to be one and done from Arkansas. Some of the names you need to know for the Hogs are Ricky Council IV. He leads the Razorbacks in points and assists per game, A couple other guys I really like on this team are 2 of their star freshmen in Jordan Welch as well as Anthony Black. Anthony Black leads this team with 3 steals per game. I really like the youth movement, but I also like some of their vets as well. They got Devontae Davis, not the linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but Devontae Davis, And then they've got Trayvon Brazel as well, who leads the team in rebounds. I really like what Arkansas does. They're fast-moving, they're athletic, but they play at a high level on both ends, and Eric Musselman is one of the best coaches in America. And as you can tell by this roster, as they're 12 to 13 guys deep, he's one of the best recruiters in the country as well. Moving on to the number 10 team in the country, it's Creighton. And this team is just so Doug McDermott. Like, he loves shooters and he loves guys that are positionless, right? And he's got a bunch of those guys on this team. The guy that I really want to focus on is their center, Ryan Kay. Dude is an absolute stud. Averages 18 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, 1.3 blocks. But here's the thing. He's shooting 80% on the year from the field, 100% from the charity stripe, and then 50% from 3. Now, do I think that's going to continue all year long? No, and if it did, he's probably going to be player of the year in all of college basketball. But he is a very good player, and really the Creighton offense goes through him. He's a solid passer as well, more of a hockey assist type guy, averages 1 assist per game, but he is a very solid, fundamental piece to what Creighton likes to do, and he's the guy that you need to know going into the Maui Invitational. Let's move on to the Arizona Wildcats, who lost quite a bit of talent last year, but moving in, there's a couple of guys you need to know as they are just fully across their leaderboard, and that is Toblis and Ballo, right? Toblis leads the way in points and is up there in rebounds as well. But Ballo leads this team in rebounds, steals, and blocks. The guy also you probably need to know is the guard Kerr Krissa, who leads this team with 9.5 assists. But it just seems like they always have a bunch of talent that is obviously highly ranked in a lot of regards, but also they get the most out of those guys that maybe aren't the 5 stars or the high 4 stars that end up at Arizona. Maybe they get some of those guys that are the lower 4 stars, high 3-star guys to produce at a high level. And not to mention, it always seems they have a couple of European guys as well that just always ball out. Arizona is a very good team headed into Maui, and don't be surprised if they win the whole thing. I truly believe that 4 out of the top 25 teams in this thing can win it. And Arizona is one of them. We've already gone over it in Creighton, in Arkansas. But let me know in the comments before we hit the back half of the teams in this tournament, who do you think will win the Maui Invitational? Just drop your team in the comments. And hey, like the video if you're excited to have college basketball back. Was watching the games these past few days. The game that really stands out was the Gonzaga-Texas game. Listen, Gonzaga is not as good as people think, and Texas is probably a little bit underrated when it looks at their personal, ranking that they have right now at the time of this recording, 11. I think they're probably an 8 to 10 team, probably closer to 8 than 10, but college basketball's got a lot of good teams this year. But drop me your favorite team in the comments below, and then who you think is going to win the Maui Invitational. And while you're at it, hit that like button for the video as well. Moving on to the Aztecs of San Diego State. One of my favorite players in the entire Maui Invitational field is on San Diego State, and he's one of the most underrated players in the country, in my opinion, and that's Jaden Leedy, the forward for them. Just an absolute stud. 16 points a game so far for the Aztecs, almost 5 rebounds, shooting at over 55.5% from the field. Could get his free throw percentage up a little bit, only shooting 63%, but he is a load down in the paint for the Aztecs. Darian Trammell is also a guy you need to know as well. 15 points a game, 3.5 assists, over 2.5 steals per game. Those two guys really lead the way for the Aztecs and what they want to do, and don't be surprised if this team makes some noise out on the beach. Now, a lot of y'all are watching this because, well, Texas Tech, as you can tell by the memorabilia in the background. I did go to Texas Tech, and I cover Texas Tech as well for those non-Texas Tech watchers of the video. They are led by Kevin O'Banner and Devion Harmon, 2 of their leaders in terms of experience. A guy you need to know in this one as well for the Red Raiders is Daniel Bacho. He has definitely taken that next step. He was a transfer from Arizona, didn't get to play much for the Wildcats, but due to knee injury, but he transferred to Texas Tech, had a solid role last year, but has taken a major leap forward for the Red Raiders. Also, some guys you need to know for Texas Tech. You got Pop Isaacs, you've got Jalen Tyson, you got Lamar Washington, Kerwin Walton, as well as others. There is a lot of talent that Texas Tech has on this team. This is by far the deepest team Texas Tech has had in the Mark Adams era, and that includes his time as the assistant. This is a deep team. Now, they're going to have to shrink it down to about 9 guys here, and I'm interested to see how those rotations develop. But Kevin O'Banner and Devion Harmon, two guys, that college basketball fans for the past few years definitely know very well, especially Kevin O'Banner in that Sweet 16 run for Oral Roberts a few years back. All right, we're moving outside the top 25 now. Ohio State and Bryce Sensabaugh. He's the guy that leads the way for them. He's got 17 points per game. They actually have 3 guys in double figures in Key and Suing as well. So really solid team out of the Big Ten. Now the thing is with me is how do they go at the guard position? And a lot of that is predicated on one guy, in my opinion. And again, if you're a college basketball fan, you're going to know this guy. And if you're a Big 12 basketball fan, you're going to know this guy. It goes as Oklahoma State transfer Isaiah Likely, though. I really liked him at Oklahoma State. He's now at Ohio State. I really like what he does. He's not going to be one of those guys that, fills up the box score in terms of points or anything like that, but he will fill it up across the board, and I like Isaiah Likely. I think Ohio State has a chance to maybe surprise some people as they start off against San Diego State. It would not surprise me at all if the Buckeyes beat the Aztecs in the first round of the Maui Invitational. Moving on to another Big 12 team, at least in a year. It is the Cincinnati Bearcats, and they are led by David DeJulius. He leads the way with 18.3 points per game. Landry Knowles as well. just a stud. Landry Knoll, I mean, Vautech transfer, really, really good player. Really like what he brings to the table. The Fairburn, Georgia native. I really like what Cincinnati has. Now, unfortunately for them, when it comes down to it, they have to face Arizona, who presents a lot of mismatch nightmares, especially from a length standpoint. So it'll be interesting to see what the Julius and Noel will do in this one, but they have a lot of talent on this team. Lakin is another guy at the forward position who I really like his size. He leads this team in rebounding. Really, really like what Cincinnati brings to the table in this one. And who knows, they do present matchup nightmares as well as Arizona, but Arizona I'd probably give the edge to in that matchup. As for the team that just rounds this one out, I didn't think this was going to be the case, but here we are. It's the Louisville Cardinals. They're not a good basketball team. They're just not. L. Ellis leads the way with 24 points, but damn, they have 4 guys in double figures. After that, they really don't have much. You got Mike James, you got Jalen Withers as well in double figures, and then you got Brandon Hutley Hatfield in double figures. The next closest to double figures after those guys is J.J. Triner at 4 points. It's just not a good basketball team. You look at who they've lost to already, Louisville, and they've lost to Bellarmine, Wright State, and App State. All 3 of those games were at home, at the KFC Center or whatever the hell they call it in Louisville. They're not a good team. They're going to get absolutely boat raced by Arkansas in the second game of the Maui Invitational, but they're just not a good basketball team. So there you have it, Maui Invitational preview. Remember, the Maui Invitational starts on Monday with Game 1, a top 25 matchup between the number 10 Creighton Bluejays and the number 23 Texas Tech Red Raiders. All of this will be on ESPN, whether that's ESPN, the normal station, ESPN2, or ESPNU. Go to MauiInvitational.com for the times and everything like that as well. One more reminder, let me know who you got winning the Maui Invitational down in the comments. Be sure to like the video as well if you were excited to have college basketball back. And if you want to go listen to the promo we got available, well, get us to 1,500 subs, and we will be giving away a signed piece of Texas Tech memorabilia. I am RC Maxfield. Appreciate you tuning in to this Maui Invitational preview. I am excited as hell to watch college basketball out on the beach, and damn it, I am jealous of everybody out there. Reminding you one more time here on the Back to 12 podcast channel to be sure to like the video. As always, stay safe and wreck 'em.